Hello. So now that we've completed our drawing of the Spanish mackerel, it's time to get started with painting. Make sure that you have some good photographs and paintings of which to reference. Now this is a silvery fish, meaning it is a fast swimming fish and it has a coloration where it's darker at the top, lighter at the bottom, and when it swims through the water, the sun reflects off it and almost looks silvery. For this reason, today we're going to use our standard set of watercolors. This is 12 different colors. It's a good set to start if you're a beginner. It has some good pigments to it for the watercolor. And we're also going to use one of these. This is a craft paint in white. We're going to use that for our highlight accents afterwards. For our brushes, just two simple brushes. 3/4 inch flat and a number 6 round for our detail work. Make sure you have plenty of water, some newspaper to try your colors out with, your selection of your photographs to work from, and we're going to get ready, and now we're going to paint. We mix a little bit of the blue and the black, get our 3/4 inch brush, use the side of the brush, and start to carry our paint over on the top of the fish. It's darker at the top, it's going to get lighter as we go below. I've been mixing more of the black and blue to get this dark color. Have enough water so that it flows over the paper, move it around the face. Make sure you have enough water on your 3/4 inch brush so that you can spread it evenly and you can slowly bring the color down. I'm going back and forth and you notice it gets lighter as I'm toward the bottom. Less paint, more water, and you get a lighter value color. I got a little darker. I want to get some more of that black and blue. And using the side of my brush, I'm making strokes that show the spines of the dorsal fins. Just continue on with that with both dorsals. A little more black and blue. And again, the side of the 3/4 inch flat brush. And I'm putting the spines in on the caudal fin, or the tail. Now for the anal fin, same thing, the sides of it. Using the side of that brush, just stroke it and it takes on the look of those spines. Now for the pectoral fin. And I'm going to darken it up here on the nose, across the face, and I'm going to darken it up again on the very top of the fish. When a fish has a darker top and a lighter below, it's called counter shading. This is so that any predators that look at it from the top down, if they're in the water column, they see the fish blend in with the bottom, and if they look up, the lighter part of the belly blends in with the sunlight coming down. So it aids in being a predator, and it protects that which is prey. More dark color on the top. Again, I've only used 2 colors here, black and blue. Checking out my color on the newspaper. You always want to check your color out first before you apply it to your painting. I got a little yellow, and I'm going to put some highlight here on the face, right in front of the gills, a little bit here on the belly. Still using that big brush. A little bit to the top. Some of the Spanish mackerel will actually appear green on the very top. Being an artist, you can change the colors and color it as you want. A little bit more of the yellow on the fins for a little bit reflection. Now I took my number 6 round brush, I put down my big brush. I mixed up some of the black with the blue to get a dark color. I don't want it all the way black. Well, here's an orange. The orange is going to be for the eyeball. And I'm going to also use some of that orange to show some of the spines. This is also evident on the tail. We're layering the colors. It gives it a really nice look to it. A little 3-dimensional quality. A little more of that orange on the pectoral fin. All fish have 2 pectoral fins, 2 ventral fins, but only 1 each of the dorsals and 1 of the anal fin. Put in again the black and blue for the eye, for the pupil, leaving just a little bit of white for a reflection. Makes the fish look a little more alive. And also putting in some definition on that mouth. Fish, of course, have lips. Using a broken line to show definition on the lips. When you ease up on your brush, you get a very fine line because you're just using the tip. When you push down, you get a thicker line. Showing the operculum or the gill covering. And using some fine line to define the mouth. The eyes are very movable within the body. So I sometimes like to make a couple lines on the outside that just kind of show the creases in the skin of how the eye can move about. Now I'm going to use some dark color, again on those spines, on the dorsal fins. And very, very lightly, I'm combining all of my spines on the top. Just the very, very tip of my brush. More spines on the pectoral fin. And a very light outline on the edging. For the bottom of the fish, again, very, very tip of the brush, just very lightly bring it across. Now we're going to fill in these finlets. Those are those 8 to 9 little spikes that are on either side of the peduncle. You find those also on tuna. Tuna, of course, is in the same group of fish as the mackerel. Fast-swimming pelagic fish. The body extends almost down into the tail, and he's got a very rigid tail. This is any of the silvery fish that are fast-swimming pelagic have these type of tails. These are different than the reef fish, which are very soft. This allows the fish to swim faster and maneuver quicker. All of this is being done with that very fine brush. If you don't have a number 6, number 4 brush will work as well. More dark color. This again is a combination of the blue and the black. Dark on the top. Light on the bottom. Defining some of those spines on the lower fins. This is the lateral line. That's a sensory organ every bony fish has. It enables it to pick up vibrations in the water. That's how fish are able to school. It's that lateral line that's able to be the sensory organ to pick up movements of the other fish. Darker on the nose. This is still just the blue and the black. We're getting a different value here. When you get your light and dark, it's what makes the subject really seem to come alive. Spanish mackerel have orange spots on them. I'm using a straight orange out of my palette. It looks a little red here, but you could make it a little more yellow if you choose. Small brush, just making circles. When fishermen catch Spanish mackerel and they're up on the boat, these orange spots fade. The most obvious when they are free swimming in the water column. And just put your little spots every so often. They're mainly on the top part of the fish. They're not found on the underbelly. Different sizes. Now I'm going to get some white. This is a creamy acrylic white, still water-based, and I want to put in some highlights. The white that's in the palette really doesn't have enough consistency, so I like to use the acrylic. I'm going to highlight around the mouth. Make sure you have enough on your brush. It's just showing a little reflection there on the top of the fish. a little bit down there toward the end of the peduncle. A little bit of reflection on the tail. Putting a little bit here on the dorsal fins. Remember, this is a silvery fish, so there's a lot of reflection. A little bit there on the pectoral fin. Above the eye. A little bit on the eye. And you see how this fish just comes to life. The silvery fish. And you can add a few more details, but all in all, I think we've got a really nice Spanish mackerel. Thanks for joining.